In this chapter, we go in depth into knowledge about how to build the perfect about page. The about page that really speaks to your customer, the about page that really reflects who you are, and the about page that ultimately gets that person to hook into your brand. That's the whole point of an about page, isn't it? So we're going to break down the different steps of what it's going to take for you to build that about page. Starting off with some of the nitty-gritty. So be sure, as you're starting to think about what you're going to write as far as content, that you're spending some time thinking about who your customer truly is, right? Where is that customer shopping? Who is that person? Now, please don't give me the same old, well, my customer is very stylish. I can't tell you how often I hear people say, well, I'm targeting myself towards a woman, she's between 20 and 45, and she makes $80,000 a year, and she lives in New York City. That customer is too vague. That doesn't mean anything to me. If you write in such vague terms on your website, I'm not going to relate to it. Chances are your customer won't either. I've seen so many bad about pages and good about pages, and really the ones that ultimately get the customer voice across are the ones who understand the lifestyle of the customer. What magazines are they reading? What type of vocabulary are they using, right? Who is that person who you're trying to sell to? Now, the tricky part here is marrying who your customer is or who you want your customer to be with who you are, right? So that's taking customer demographic analysis and understanding that customer profile and marrying that with who you are as a brand. What is it that you stand for? What's your vision? Where do you want your brand to be? Right? And that process of developing your brand identity can take some time, right? I usually find the best way to start thinking about brand identity is to really take a look at your garment and what you've been creating, right? A lot of times people will start to think about their brand identity first and then create garments. And in that relationship, I think it's a fantastic way because your brand becomes essentially your umbrella. And then each of your collections and each of your seasons kind of fall under that umbrella. Now, marrying your customer with your brand is tricky, right? This process should take you a few weeks. In the beginning stages, you're doing a lot of research, you're taking a lot of notes. Towards the end of this process, you're going to start going into, little writing sessions. In these writing sessions, what I'm asking of you to do is to sit down and do some heavy writing about both of these subjects. Right? Your ideal customer as well as your brand and your brand vision. After you go through the writing process, now it's time to edit, right? And through this editing process, we're really getting rid of any type of loose words, loose context, loose ideas that don't ultimately feed the point of this exercise, which is to write a killer about page, right? So in this about page, your goal is to really communicate to the customer in terms of the voice that they want to be spoken to, and you want to really relate to them the value that your brand is offering to them. Not just what your brand is offering in general, but how is your customer going to really feel when they engage with your brand? What is it that they can count on you for? Why would they want to shop with you? Is it because you're made in USA, or you're organic, or you're sourcing textiles and products from international? Why do I want to shop with you? And how is that going to make me feel? What club am I now a part of? So start to marry those types of contexts and ideas together. Now, once you have a solid written piece of content, it's time to start to think about how it's all going to lay out, right? What's the structure and the format that you need to be presenting this? Well, of course, you need to have a killer photograph of yourself. In that bio shot, you're also selling your product. So please wear your product if you have it, right? Again, about page is also a selling page. Right? So when you get a killer product shot in with your photo of yourself, that to me is really an ideal photo. Now, alongside with this bio of yourself, right, and of your brand, make sure that when you write about yourself and you write about who you are, you're really keeping it to very short and minimal content. What I want to know is your intrinsic passion and value that you're bringing to this brand, right? What I love to read are these amazing stories of architects who've become fashion designers, or even people who are right out of college who have been inspired through their travels, or have been inspired through, urban streetwear, right? Or inspired through people, or inspired through anything. You need to be inspired, guys. And if you're not, you need to make something up real fast, because if you're not inspired by anything, I'm not going to feel a connection or relatability to you. So short bio about yourself, talk about the brand, talk about what the customer is ultimately going to feel out of that experience, and then also include, if you can, somewhat of a brand video, right? Get in front of the camera. Again, if you're camera shy, we can find lots of interesting ways to get your story and your point across to your customer. Also remember this, your customer isn't the only one who's looking at your about page. Potential wholesale buyers, editors, bloggers, stylists, everyone is looking at your about page. Your about page is your reason for creating connection, right? So in that about page, you're not just talking to the customer who's going to purchase, right? You're also selling people on your value. You're selling people on who you are. At the end of the day, make sure, final touch, all of your content is above the fold. Your customer is lazy. Your customer needs to be shown everything up in front and center. Don't make him or her scroll down. Keep it all really focused, tight, and above the fold of your website. All right, guys, I hope you found this content really interesting and helpful. More to be found in creating fashion websites that sell, the Fashion Designer's Guide. The link is below. Please feel free to check it out. Leave your comments below. Please email me and stay in touch. Thank you.